Okay.
Hey, everybody. We are now live. I'm back again for episode 3 of this Messy Desk concert and conversation experiment. And I'm very excited today to have Francisco Luís with me. So he's going to share a little bit about himself. Hey, Francisco, how you doing?
How are you?
Good.
Hi, everyone.
Good.
My name is
Yeah, and
Luís.
if you could just tell people a little bit about your you as a guitarist, your background, what you play, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, okay. I'll just start with this short presentation. So I'm Francisco Luís, as Mike already said, Portuguese. I'm 21 years old. I'm currently doing my bachelor with Carlo Marchione. And yeah, well, first I started studying in Portugal, naturally. I started in the local conservatory of my hometown, the Conservatory of Caldas de Rainha, actually. I know, hard name to say, but it's just a small town, doesn't matter.
In
And
Portugal.
then, yeah. Then when I was 15, I went to the National Conservatory of Lisbon, and I stayed there for more 3 years, exactly before I came to Maastricht and initiated my bachelor with Carlo Marchione.
Nice. And you've been in the Netherlands now for 3 years, so.
Yeah, actually, it's my fourth year, so I'm going to complete 4 years, like around July.
Nice. And you've applied for master's programs around different places.
Sorry?
You've applied for master's programs around, so you're going to continue your education
Yeah,
around.
exactly. Yeah. Now I'm applying for master again for Maastricht. I'm also applied for Denard, other schools. I have other ideas, but
Yeah. What kind of
not.
projects are you working on? Like, what are you playing? Or you have some chamber projects too.
Yeah, well, this thing of the virus really kind of screwed up the the at least the chamber music project. Made it way harder. But I'm working a bit on transcriptions now, a bit, and also on composing. So now that I have this free time that usually would be occupied with like going to school and some subjects, I'm using a bit of the time to make other things that I'm really interested on, which is, for example, transcribing some pieces. For example, I'm transcribing for two guitars the double concerto for violin
Bach?
by Bach, yeah,
Yeah, cool.
and D minor, and for example, I'm also working on some Scarlatti sonata
Nice.
for guitar solo,
But you
but
have a
mostly on
duo.
the Bach. It's already lots of
Yeah.
work.
You have a guitar duo too, right? With Guillermo.
Yes, with Guilherme. We are called Duo Corda Velha. Weird name. Basically, it means old string duo.
Nice.
Um, basically, because we always play with old strings, even in concerts. We never match that. There's always someone with really shitty strings.
Nice. That's good.
So we thought that would be the most
It,
suitable for us,
I would
I guess.
imagine that Guillermo would be the one with newer strings usually. No?
He's a bit more responsible than me with that. Yeah, I have to say that.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would think so.
I forget a lot of times to do it. I think it's fair to say that.
Yeah, awesome. But
But
you guys play both like transcriptions that you make, other transcriptions, and also stuff that's for guitar duo, right? So
yeah, well, for example, one description that I made for Guitar Duo already was the Forêt, the Sicilian, and this piece is a short piece for originally for cello and the piano, and I mean it is very satisfying to do this um, because I mean there's a lot of repertoire that is written for guitar duo that is like let's say really old from for example from the time of Giuliani, the classical period, but there's not so much guitar repertoire being written right now for guitar, I believe, or if there is, I don't see it so often.
yeah, maybe not in Europe.
Um,
Yeah,
so maybe like sometimes you can either compose for guitar duo, which I'm also at the moment doing, although I haven't played it yet with Guilherme. Or you can also transcribe it and maybe make some new projects and explore colors, explore a kind of repertoire that is not so much written for guitar duo.
yeah. I'm seeing Joe Donaghy from Everything Classical Guitar is telling me I'm a little quiet, so I turned up my mic. Can anyone let me know if the the balance between us is good now, so that I'm sure that I have the right setting. So if you can't hear me, just say. If all you hear is Francisco, then let me know in the comments. Awesome. Well, that's a great introduction, Francisco. We're gonna go now to hearing you play a little bit. Because of like internet quality and Zoom and everything, we've decided that we're gonna play some recordings that you've already made. Just before we go to the recordings, though, can I ask people in the chat and who are watching to please share the video if you're watching it? It'd be great just to give Francisco more exposure and share the stream with everyone. That would be awesome. But what I'm going to play first is a recording that I actually made of you. So do you want to tell people about this? It's the Tedesco, the last movement of the sonata. So can you talk about why you play this piece, what you like about it, how you play it, etc.?
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, it's, the sonata is one of the best for the guitar repertoire. I mean, we also don't have so many complete sonatas for guitar, at least. They started coming up more on the 20th century, but I believe that Tedesco writes more, for example, Antonio Jose, he writes more in a pianistic tendency. So pianistic point of view. And what I think is that you clearly, because of that, you clearly notice that there are no limitations, for example, on musical ideas that he wants to express. So sometimes I feel like if we have a sonata from Giuliani, for example, it is great, it is very well written, but sometimes it's written according to the instrument's technical limitations and according to what is handy to play,
Yeah.
And the fact that Tedesco doesn't do it makes the piece really hard to play.
Yeah.
But it also makes the music way better and makes us explore much more things that we wouldn't be able to do on other repertoire.
Yeah, and I have to say the problem with Tedesco also is that many times the articulation is not idiomatic at all. It's very,
Yeah, exactly.
difficult.
I mean, the articulation is written totally in a pianistic way. So whenever you have staccato written, the only thing that I really think that he means is to not play it with pedal, like you would do it on the piano, or to not play it totally legato. But for sure, not all the dots are staccato, for example, because it'd be really weird like this, actually.
Yeah, it's the same in some of the capriccios. But I have to say, your playing of it is really nice because I feel like you actually achieve all those articulations, which many players kind of ignore because it's not handy on the guitar at all.
So, well, thank you. I mean, I could do better, but
yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we all could. But let's take a listen to your performance of it now. I'm just gonna. I have to do some wizardry with OBS to get it happening. But and I recorded this with you in Maastricht, actually.
Yeah.
While you were preparing for some auditions, so it was actually 4 auditions.
Yep.
And yeah, I like this performance a lot. So let's take a listen to you performing Tedesco. Wait a second, I'm having technical problems. It's not showing the actual video. I think I made the settings wrong. Sorry, everybody. Is that working now? Maybe? Sorry, everyone. I thought this would work. Bit. No, that's not working. Automatic. Okay, we're just gonna stop with that. We're gonna delete that window. Remove. And we're gonna try just doing the screen capture in general. And hope that this works. Okay. Francisco, I'm getting the audio through your
Sorry.
computer, I think. Cool. All right. I think I actually could have done that in a more elegant way. The video sharing. I think I realized while we were watching it, I have a better way to do it. But that sounded great, man. Still, great playing. Sorry, everyone, for the technical difficulties. I'm still figuring this thing out. Nice. Yeah, sounds great. I love that recording. Awesome. So I'm curious if you can tell us the gotcha question of this whole stream that I ask every episode so far is, how do you define classical guitar?
It's pretty wide.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
I don't know. Classical guitar it could go into a lot of topics. I mean, of course, it is. It's a wide question because the problem is that I feel that the classical guitar was only started to the instrument, classical guitar, and the term and the concept of actually playing classical guitar only started being explored in the 20th century.
Yeah.
With the appearance of André Segovia. Actually, it's true. So I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this, but the truth is, and that's what I think at least, is that he elevated the guitar to a serious presence on the stage.
Yeah.
So before it was seen mostly as a popular instrument, and after with Segovia, with some transcriptions and also with some repertoire that was written for him, it became much more serious, and a lot of repertoire was developed in that 20th century by some composers, especially Spanish composers. But I think that from that moment onwards, it changed completely. So before, it was used as in the Baroque times, for example, it was used as accompaniment, for example, or basso continuo.
What about
Uh,
people like Giuliani though, and Aguado, and all these people?
yeah, I mean, also there were some, of course, some guitarists, and I would say, still compared to the composers of other instruments, I would say it's still exceptions because there are not so many. But if we think about Giuliani, maybe Regondi, Fernando Sor, I mean, they did play on, for example, some serious events, or let's say more
Serious stages, yeah.
serious stages, but it was still not. It was not a relevant instrument, and most of the people, it wouldn't reach most of the people. So I would say like maybe like 5% of the population actually would watch or would see something about classical guitar,
As
and I
opposed
think
to the piano or a string instrument or something.
I think it changed a lot from André Segovia. So to define classical guitar, it's a bit complicated, but I feel that there's a lot of different styles.
Yeah, now it's
It's an
complicated because
instrument that mostly that could really distinguish himself from other instruments is mostly about the colors and the effects that you can have.
yeah,
Because in guitar you can explore so much things actually. So if you ask, for example, for a violinist to make a ponticello, for example, maybe for a violinist, for people who are violinists, they would notice it when they watch it live or when they listen to it. But for example, if we ask to more general public, so people who are not musicians, they probably wouldn't see it so clearly. But for example, in guitar, if you do a ponticello or a dolce, you totally hear the difference, you know, and
yeah,
you can, and it's a fact that it's way more direct and way clearer.
yeah,
And I feel that the color exploration in our instrument is really a big, let's say, not advantage, but it's a great possibility that we have, and it's something that we can explore way more. Still nowadays, I think guitarists could do it more.
yeah, for sure.
I mean, most of all, it's an instrument where you can have a lot of that, and you also have a lot of harmonical possibilities. It has 6 strings, so I mean, there's a lot of repertoire that you can actually play. Therefore, that's why I think we have so many transcriptions, for example.
Yeah, for sure.
So much.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's also complicated because now the genre is becoming very broad with contemporary music, right? So
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's why it's hard to define. I really, there's not really an answer, but
yeah,
I'm more defining the instrument by what it is and what, for example, it is.
like what it can do physically.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and the sound itself, like the type of strings and the way we play with our nails and all this stuff. And
yeah. I think there's a lot of possibilities. That's one of the great things of the instrument.
Yeah, for sure.
Worst thing is we cannot play legato, basically.
Yeah.
That's the good thing, but
we can't play a straight melody with.
We can do a good. You can try, but it's really percussive, and it always sounds.
Yeah,
shitty.
it always sounds percussive. Yeah, true. But then again, the percussive effect is what's special too with extended techniques.
Yeah, exactly. For a lot of repertoire, it's great.
Honestly. Yeah. So what's your program right now that you're playing, and why is it what it is? Like, why did you choose this program at the moment for the end of?
Well, I mean, now I'm more preparing new repertoire now that we started this staying home
right
period. I mean, I'm preparing new stuff. For now, I'm preparing the Antonio José Sonata.
Okay.
And the third sonata for violin from Johann Sebastian Bach.
Okay.
Well, before, some pieces that I was playing was, for example, the Tedesco Sonata, the Old Lime Tree, and also this Bach second violin sonata, only the Andante. But yeah. I mean, the thing I've played mostly this year, I believe it would be the Old Lime Tree, yes, this Tedesco. I mean, I think Tedesco is always, for me, a piece that that is very well conceived in character, in the in the exploration of the instrument's possibilities, even in articulation, even if it's pianistically written.
Yeah.
You can actually do a lot of things, and when you do them, it makes the piece really special and
Yeah, for sure.
really different from most of the other guitar pieces. So
Mhm.
for me, it's highly recommendable. Of course, it's really hard, but
Yeah, that's the problem is the efforts you have to put in. Like when I played some of the
it can be
caprichos.
ungrateful, but if it works, it's really a great feeling.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
and I felt like that when I played it most of the times. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's high risk,
Though,
high reward.
sorry.
High risk but high reward.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, it's a challenge, but and there are people who probably wouldn't like maybe to do it because of those extremely unhandy things that you find. But
Yeah, yeah,
for me, at least, I see it as a challenge and a positive one,
yeah.
motivating.
Do you have a light you could turn on there? It's a bit dark. It's okay if you don't, but
Yeah. I will do it in a minute.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I'll just riff on stuff. Hey everyone, while Francisco is grabbing the light. Oh, that's much better. There we go. And we can see all your nice like china and glasses. That's great.
And my huge hair, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. That's part of the point of this whole stream is to show your face. Um, by the way, everyone, if you could share the stream, I'd really appreciate it. But also, uh, I've put a link in the description where you can donate to support the stream. Not just my channel in the stream, but also if you make a one-time donation during the stream, half of it will go to Francisco, the artist. So if you want to support him, give that consideration. And I hope you enjoy what he's going to play when going on here. But I'm wondering about, because I think you can't be in a conservatory in Europe without noticing the number of Portuguese players. You know,
So,
the number of Portuguese guitarists who are really good is very high, and I think that
I think it's been very good. Yeah.
yeah, I think around Europe it's very noticeable. I was honestly, don't take this the wrong way, but when I showed up, I was surprised at the number. You know, it's a high number. So I'm wondering if you could tell me like why. I've kind of wondered for a while, but why is it's so good there for classical guitar in terms of training? Like, why are there so many young players who are so good in Portugal?
Well, more than maybe this is just my idea. I'm always a suspect to say because I'm Portuguese myself.
Yeah, yeah,
But more than the thing of playing guitar is that I think most of the people who are Portuguese are very adaptable to different environments.
okay,
So not only I think Portuguese people have very easy way to speak other languages usually. So that's why, for example, there's a lot of Portuguese students studying in Germany.
okay,
A lot of them also studying in France. There are some of them, a lot of them in Spain, for example.
mm-hmm.
It's because we have this kind of easy time to adapt, and this is really something that I appreciate, of course. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it makes a difference because this possibility of going outside, sometimes more than the playing, is the way you can deal with the difference of culture, the difference of language, and the difference of mentality. And I think from all the Portuguese guitarists that I met, all of them had that capability.
Yeah.
I think, and of course, I think the level is good because I think that mostly we have very good teachers in high school. So we have a kind of a different system, which is so we can have conservatory before we actually go to the university. So we could have like me, for example, I had 3 years of conservatory before I started my bachelor.
Oh, that's nice. So
Actually,
3 years of
no, actually, I had way more. I had 3 years in the National Conservatory, and then I had 5 before in the local conservatory.
Wow.
So
Okay.
before I entered, I had 8 years of conservatory. And in Portugal, there is this possibility. You can start and you can make the school, let's say the basic and high school, at the same time you do a conservatory. So this gives a lot of preparation for most of the students. And
Yeah,
this
no
is
kidding.
what I think. So whenever we Portuguese students come, for example, when it's about theory, most of the things that we see, let's say in the first year bachelor of these courses, like for example, it was in Maastricht, like maybe it is in another place in Germany, I don't know, but how maybe it
Yeah.
is that we already have learned almost everything.
Yeah.
We already are totally prepared to do whatever they ask us. So
yeah, that's nice. I mean, I can't even imagine because I started playing as an adult, but like it's really, I guess, a real gift to have that option when you're a teenager.
it makes things way easier, and also, of course, more than serious the guitar, because basically you play way more time guitar. You have that ability of having a serious accompaniment for a lot of time. So yeah, I feel that, and a lot of the famous, let's say, famous Portuguese guitarists, like some very good ones, like Joaquim Simões, for example, like they come and they already had all of this preparation. And
Yeah.
when they're, for example, applying for a school, in this case, he studies in Germany with Clash. For example, for sure, he already had a lot of years playing. He already had a lot of years to work on certain repertoire that probably he liked and probably was very good.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
he just kept evolving.
Yeah,
So,
that's
and this
super
happened
cool.
with a lot of people. And I think this is the main reason. I think.
Awesome. Nice. And do you think there's a larger appreciation for classical music, maybe, or it's hard to judge? I guess it's hard to
If
know.
there's a higher appreciation for classical music
Yeah, or is
in
it
Portugal.
in Portugal? Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say so. It depends. Like the classical guitar, it's a very small world. I mean, we are small anyway.
Yeah.
We're a very small country, so I think in classical guitar, at least, it's not so much appreciated. Also, for maybe other instruments as violin and cello, I think it's just that
The resources are there. If you want to do it, the
the
resources
education
are there.
is, but the education system is very good. That's
Yeah.
the most grateful part of Portugal is that, like, let's say the market is not good and it doesn't give many possibilities, but the education is very demanding usually.
Okay, so you learn a lot. Yeah, that's good.
So we always learn a lot. What happens with most of the guitarists probably is that they just go outside and they found or a job outside, or
They don't stay in Portugal necessarily.
Around Europe, but not
Yeah.
in Portugal.
Yeah. I'm just to pivot a little bit. I'm curious how you practice, how you approach practicing. What have you learned about practicing? Like, what's your method?
It really depends on the piece, honestly. I mean, this is just my personal approach, but for example, if it's totally different, if for example it's Bach, or if it is or for example it is Old Lime Tree, let's say from Bruno.
Yeah.
Like, well, first of all, of course, you have to just start by watch the technical aspects that work. So, but for example, if you have Bach, if you're talking about a fugue, it's very important that, for example, we detect the theme, for example.
Yeah.
And then you have to make a fingering that would really fit the articulation and the dynamic of the theme. So, in my opinion, for example, when you study a fugue, you should detect the theme, where it appears, and make sure that you have a fingering that, for example, if you want the theme of the fugue always in one string, later on the piece, you keep doing it.
Yeah.
That's an important thing. So, for example, with Bach, if you have these kind of repetitions of themes, you should really try to make it the most, how do you say, homogenic. Yeah.
Yeah, homogeneous. Yeah. So basically, for you, I guess, like the musical result is the first consideration when you're doing technique or fingerings, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So most of the things I do is really just thinking about how it actually sounds,
rather than how it is to play.
But of course, it depends of the piece, because, for example, Old Lime Tree is clearly a piece that is written in a guitaristic way. It's really it's very handy. It's natural.
But would you change the fingering in that to make the music make more sense?
I would do it some more times to make it more sense to me. But if it is written really specifically in that way to work it like that,
Right.
And if the composer wants it, and if the composer is still alive, actually.
Oh, that makes a difference for you.
Yeah. No, I mean, it would be more respectful, I think. I mean, because
yeah, it just depends on the person, I guess. But I'm just curious, like, yeah, you would care what a composer thought, basically, if you were doing something that they didn't write.
Well, if he's, I mean, I would at least, consider his opinion at least in the beginning. Then if I didn't agree, of course, it would be something, but I would consider that. But anyway, the point is, when it's a guitaristic piece, I think you should, of course, play it like it was written. And then if you want to change something for your musical taste, it's good. But
yeah,
to play, if it's already guitaristically written, it probably will work musically as well.
Yeah. Cool. Nice. Well, we're going to play a little game now to get off of the serious topics. Yeah. So we're going to play a classical guitar repertoire listening test game. Here is the part of the show where normally we would play the repertoire guessing game, where I embarrass the guest by playing clips from guitar recordings and having them guess the piece, composer, and player, and we talk about the music. Unfortunately, YouTube and/or Naxos, the label where many of the recordings come from, automatically block my videos when I do this due to copyright claims. Even though I know that short clips of copyrighted content are allowed under fair use when they are being used for commentary and/or education. Due to this delightful roadblock from our benevolent YouTube overlords, we'll be skipping this section, but if you'd like, you can check out the full stream with the repertoire guessing game on Facebook through the link below in the description box. Now, back to our fascinating guest. Okay, so next, I'm wondering if you can share with everybody your favorite tip for technique or for musical things, something you do when you practice, a little trick. What are the secrets of Francisco Luís?
No, I really don't have so many.
What kind of technique warm-ups do you do, or technique work do you do?
Well, I do a lot of calibrato just to warm up.
Okay.
I think it's good legato, especially for the left hand, a bit of also, of course, right hand as well. Let me think.
Do you have some way in which you like to practice certain passages to improve them?
I don't know. What I think is maybe what is really important is that when we relax, when we play a very hard passage, it is important that we keep focused on being relaxed. So it's kind of a paradoxical thing, because if you're really focused, you get tense usually. But you really have to make an effort. So when you're practicing a hard passage, not only to play it well, but to get it right, but to get it right while you're relaxed. So get it right without making the least effort possible.
Yeah, that's
and
smart.
For that you really have to find, of course, the best fingering, the one that works the best. It doesn't have to be traditionally the best fingering.
Yeah.
But you can put like the best, but the one that works better with you and that makes sure that you're playing relaxed in the future.
So you have to balance that then with your earlier thing about musical fingerings.
Yeah.
It's a balance between making the music make sense and also being relaxed.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there will be some passages where it's going to be almost impossible to be.
Yeah. Can you give an example now with your guitar of a passage that you had to do this with, this kind of relaxation thing?
Yeah, well, maybe let me check. I have to think of a piece, but
I mean, even in the Tedesco, there's some passages, right?
Yeah, for example, if we think about the Tedesco, maybe. Okay, so it's like this. So you have the right hand working, and you also have the left hand working. But it is important that when you're really focused, for example, you make sure that, for example, your wrist is not too down or too tense, and that your left hand, you're not pressing too much here, because if you do that, you get some pain after the rest of the piece,
and possibly an injury.
Yeah. So I mean, this is something that it's just it's a small thing, but I think it makes a lot of difference. Maybe sometimes, because I do see some players playing well, but sometimes very tense.
Too much effort, yeah.
And you notice that.
Yeah, for sure. Great. So we're going to listen to some more of your playing now. This time Bach. Do you want to talk about this movement and how you play it and why you play it?
Yeah, I mean, it was, for me, it's a really special movement. I think it's one of my favorites from the slow movements, because I think it is, it's really poetic, I think. It's really like a very spoken thing. And the fact that you have so much space for like ornamenting when you repeat each section, you can make you can leave a very personal touch to the piece, and at the same time really enjoy what Bach, of course, wrote and wanted.
Cool.
For me, it's like one of the best from the violin sonatas, in my opinion. Yeah.
Nice. Cool. So, and this is from the second sonata?
Second violin sonata,
yeah. Okay, cool. All right, this time I'm going to do it through sharing my screen on Zoom, which I think will be a lot more successful.
Okay.
So hopefully that makes a lot more sense and works a lot better. One moment. Okay. Yes. All right, let's listen. wait. Oh, wait. I did something wrong. It's only sharing to you. It's not sharing to the stream. I'm
Okay.
sorry, everybody.
I mean, you don't need to share it to me anymore. It's okay.
Okay, wait. How do I make this make sense? There we go. Okay, I got it to work. Good. Okay. Awesome. And then I turned this off. Okay. Wonderful. Very nice.
Okay.
Awesome. Here, I'm just gonna make sure that we're back on the Zoom video. Nope, that's not what I wanted. There we go. That's what I wanted. Oh man, so many technical difficulties.
Yes.
I'm gonna have it set up more smoothly next time, guys. Sorry, guys and gals and everybody. Whew, so many variables to manage. Super. That sounded great, man.
Yeah.
Nice work. You're not playing on your own guitar there because you're playing at the luthier.
No. Yeah. This when I went to Gallery, I had like four or five different guitars I could try, and then I could choose.
Nice. And we should say a big thank you to them for letting us use the videos for the stream.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're in Lyon. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Galerie de Luthier in Lyon. So shout out to them. All right, everybody, let's move on here. And just a reminder to everyone to please share the stream, and also you can check out how to support it in the description box. So I'm wondering if you can tell me what you think it means to be a performer who performs works written by other people. Like, I know you also compose, but how do you see the job of being the interpreter?
How to play other people's pieces?
Like, what does it mean to be a person who plays other people's pieces, to be an interpreter, a performer?
I mean, I guess most of us are. I mean, if we play, for example, Bach, we're playing or interpreting someone else's piece, right?
Yeah, but what's
so yeah. So let me see if I understand the question.
Yeah.
What does it mean to interpretate in this
case?
To
interpret people's works, and how do you see that role, that job?
Okay. I mean, it's always it's always risky because I mean, I think there are 2 points of view, which are the people who do everything that is on the score, and the people who want to follow strictly what the composer asks, and the people who want to mix that with their own character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and of course there are some exceptional cases as well, people who just want to play in their own personality, which is also fine. So for example, the way I see it, I think that we should respect, of course, what is written on the score in terms of dynamics, articulations, and we should try to go towards the composer's ideal, but we should never miss our own personality. So if we do want to do something contrary, yes, if we do have a good explanation to do the way we want it, for example, a certain passage, mm-hmm. Instead of, for example, making it piano, we want to make it forte. If we do have a good explanation, and if it really feels much more right for us to do it, I think we should do it. Because the most important, in my opinion, is that as a performer, you convince your audience of your own ideas and your own style. And if that goes a bit against the composer, then be it. And it's not really... If a composer is composing something, he's expecting it to be played by other people, and all people are different. Yeah. So if you don't show your personality, then you don't have something that distinguishes.
Yeah, and you're not going to convince an audience either, probably.
Yeah, exactly. So there are maybe people who want to follow strictly the score, and I respect that. But I do think that you should always put a bit of your own creativity on it.
And you have to, and I mean, ultimately, you have to do something that's going to provide a performance.
Yeah, for example, that's something that I really like from Agnello Desiderio, for example.
Yeah.
I know that some people criticize him sometimes for the interpretations being way off what's about the style, for example, when he plays Baroque music or something. But in my opinion, he's very honest and very direct about his feelings and about his way of seeing the music, and he makes it convincing and transmits it very clearly to the public.
Yeah.
So I really respect that, in my opinion. So that's why I always like to listen to him anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I know you also are composing a little bit, and you've done some in the past, but also I know that you are interested in improvisation and why we don't do it as classical musicians. I know you said this is maybe a topic you want to do in your masters, but why have we lost the art of improvisation as classical musicians, and why is that important still?
Well, I actually did research about it, but I mean, there's a lot of reasons. There are several reasons, but I mean, what I think is that well, for sure, to actually be able to go to a serious stage and to improvise only, and for large minutes, it could be very challenging, and it's
Yeah.
not for everyone, and it requires a lot of theoretical knowledge. The thing is, there's always a lot of public with a bit pretentious about it, or sometimes public that is not looking for that. For example, a lot of the public that comes to the concerts, they go specifically because they're expecting to hear a certain piece. So,
Yeah.
for example, if we talk about orchestra playing, a lot of people say, "Okay, I'm going to watch this concert because they're going to play the Rachmaninoff concerto." No,
Right.
of course. And if they don't know, sometimes then they are not going on purpose to something that
Yes.
they don't know. And this really makes a difference. Then, of course, there are some people who are a bit pretentious about it. They don't see it as serious practice. They see it more as something light and something more, let's say, irresponsible. I don't know, but I feel that. But I also feel that, for example, if we hear people like Yamandu Costa
Hmm.
or also this pianist Gabriela Montero, their their improvisation is very based on a lot of classical structures and classical technique playing, and still it sounds really wonderful, and they make a great show. That's the truth. Like Yamandu Costa, of course, he plays a bit popular, but he uses a lot of classical resources actually, in
Hmm.
terms of scales or harmonies,
Hmm.
and I think it should be if I ever become a really international artist and I could give more concerts, I would definitely include something because it's also a great way to really expose your own personal feelings, because
Artistry,
it
yeah,
really
because
comes out of you
yeah,
directly.
you're
You know.
improvising there, yeah. And like, what are the main? I know you said there's a lot of reasons, but what do you think are the main reasons that we don't see so many improvising composer performers like we did in like there were in the past? For example, in the Baroque period, like
Yeah, well, first of all, it's because of this concept of, as I said, like the concept of people wanting to know what they're going to listen to. And if they don't, a lot of people will just not come in, and you need to sustain yourself. So you do need to have people watching. Second of all, I think a lot of people don't have the preparation because if you really notice, we, at least for example, in our conservatory in Maastricht, but I see it in a lot of cases. A lot of people don't really have a subject dedicated to improvisation. A lot of people, like,
yeah,
or at least to improvisation based on classical techniques, And they don't have that preparation. They never have to do it, and they spend a lot of time preparing their own repertoire. So pieces that were already written or their own their own things. So
and
they
the
don't also
demands
they
for
also
that
don't
are
have time
yeah.
to dedicate so much. I think.
Yeah, and the demands for preparing a large program are always increasing for younger
Yeah,
players.
exactly. It gets more demanding and demanding. And for example, if we think that people want more and more to go to competitions, they have to prepare something more specific each time, more specific.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think these three. I think I mentioned three. Yeah,
yeah,
these three are the main reasons. I think they are. Let's say in a very resumed way. Let's say.
yeah. It makes sense. I always just it's interesting to me that now there's such a divide between composers and performers, which in some ways is very cool because I mean, for me as someone who likes to interpret music that's already written, I find it exciting that there are so many composers writing who don't play the guitar that I can interpret their music and
Yeah,
commission
yeah,
music from them and stuff. But it's weird also that nobody is well, not nobody. Not I shouldn't say nobody, but very few people are improvising or writing their own music or
definitely, definitely. I mean, that's why I made research about it because I
yeah,
think it is strange, at least. Let's
yeah,
say.
interesting. Well, hopefully one day you'll produce some like big research product out of it, and we'll all get to see it.
Let's see.
Yeah, awesome. Um, cool. Can you recount for me and for our listeners a sort of life-changing musical moments, or yeah, either in a lesson or a masterclass or a festival or something that you just was really, yeah, changed your life and was really a turning point for you. Do you have something like that, or?
I have some marking moments that changed my life. Not really. I don't
Okay.
think so, but I have some marking moments.
Yeah.
Mostly concerts, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, well, I had um, actually the concert that most marked me for guitar, and because I don't listen so much to guitar, that's
Yeah,
actually
we saw
funny.
that in the repertoire game.
Yeah, I know, as you can see. I don't listen so much, but the concert that I definitely liked the most and the most marked me was actually Carlo Marciano's concert
Our teacher's concert, yeah.
in Petre. I think it was 2016. I think it was. Yeah, it was my first batch. It was the year before I came to Maastricht,
Okay.
like right before. Um, and he played a concert where he plays, for example, this Andante from Bach, and he also played like pieces like Julian. His the repertoire, which I think, in my opinion, is more specialized on, and and I think it was really marking because it was very inspiring. His musical approach, not so guitaristic, but actually as a musician.
Yeah.
The and the way he created all the moments, the way he built up his program. I think it was the best concert that I've seen, in my opinion, at least,
Yeah.
or at least the one that marked me the most. Yeah, and from that moment onwards, yeah, I was more motivated to study with him, and I was, um, yeah, I there's a lot of things that changed on my view. For example, with Bach pieces,
Yeah.
especially when I saw that one. That was really amazing. I also once watched the concert, Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto in Portugal. It was Nikolai Lugansky that played him, and for me it was really also like the best interpretation I heard from a piano concerto live, at least,
Yeah.
because it was so precise and in such a way so powerful, and um, I think it went towards everything I imagined from Rachmaninoff, which is personally one of my favorite composers.
Okay. Yeah.
And I say that these two were the most marking, I think.
Yeah.
They changed a bit my views about the music of certain composers.
Yeah. Well, when you were just describing choosing fingerings that serve the musical shape and articulation and everything, I was like, well, there's Carlo, you know. But also yourself. I mean, I feel like studying for 2 years in Maastricht, that's what I've learned the most about too from him is how
Yeah, I
to.
mean, of course, we there's always a limit, of course.
Yeah, yeah, but well, with Carlo there isn't always a limit, you know. Sometimes in your lesson it's like do this
Yeah.
fingering
Sometimes,
even if it's totally impractical. So,
yeah, of course. I mean, there's always, and also the limit also differs from person to person, of course. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
watch sometimes also about playing. I think we also see some really crazy fingerings that I think no one do but him, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And but it's okay because it works. So
and it depends on the player. I mean, there's fingerings I do that nobody else would do, but then, yeah, because of my hand size. But
it works. That's
yeah,
the most important. It has to be convincing.
yeah. But I just mean with Carlo, like you, I know what you mean with learning how to understand the music first, and then choosing how you play based on the music, you know. And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
even approaching different styles, it's a different approach to technique, even in some pieces, because you know you're playing a different style. So
Yeah.
so yeah,
This.
cool, awesome. All right, I think we have another game now.
Oh no.
You
Oh
ready
no.
for another game? There's more time to humiliate you. Uh,
Yes.
no, but this game you just have to. It's not really a game. It's kind of a game, but you have to respond to, you know, a would you rather question. You know, would you rather?
Okay. Okay, I think that's okay.
Okay, so there's three of
I'll
them.
take
So okay,
this.
these are like guitar related. Would you rather? So would you rather play a concert when you haven't slept for a whole day, an entire day, like 24
Mhm.
hours,
Yeah.
and maybe a bit longer, like you didn't sleep overnight, and then the next day in the evening you have to play a concert, or would you rather eat like a super hot chili pepper, like really way too hot for you, right before you go on stage?
The hot chili pepper, definitely. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because
I
it will
mean,
pass, or
I did something similar to that some years ago. Like not like super hot chili, but I did eat something really spicy,
yeah,
and then I had to go to competition, and I felt that a lot, you know. But I had a couple of beers just
yeah,
to bit shape it well, you know,
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
to ease it a bit up. And the combination actually, the concert went well. That's the funny part,
Oh,
actually.
you performed well because you were both relaxed and also spicy.
Yeah, I guess so.
Nice.
Well,
That's awesome.
I got one for sure. Yeah, despite.
That's smart. Okay, so easy answer for you there.
Okay, yeah.
Would you rather, when you're performing, have really shaky hands or
Uh-huh.
really, really, really shitty nails? Like your nails are just really like messed up.
Really shaky hands. Yeah, definitely.
Shaky hands over the nails. So
Because I mean, sorry.
you'd rather have a good sound but not be in control.
Yeah, let's say. I mean, but the thing is, when you're shaky, I mean, it's mostly on the beginning because after when you play, if you really warm up and if you get used to it, it will probably get okay
Right.
with time.
But the nails aren't going to improve. Yeah.
Yeah, the nails. Yeah, it's always there.
Yeah.
And it's like the sound. It's what people are first thing that they listen to. It's bad. It's not good. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, so this one, um, would you rather like have someone put a gun to your head and you have to memorize and record and publish all 6 violin sonatas and partitas in 6 months,
Okay.
or you're only allowed to play, you're only allowed to practice or perform Carcassi etudes for 6 months?
That's really specific. Wow. The gun thing. Yeah, definitely.
Really, you'd rather do the entire
Yeah,
Bach thing,
I'll definitely do that.
like
Yeah, no
publish it
more,
online no matter how
no
bad
more
it is.
Carcassi. No more Carcassi.
No more Carcassi. But in
Yes.
6 months, you think you could learn and publish and record all the 6 violin partitas and sonatas?
I mean, you didn't say anything about the quality of the recordings.
Well, yeah, but you have to put it out publicly.
I mean, I was thinking about like that. Like I would record because I have a gun against my head, so I just have to do it.
Okay, and then you just publish it and you're like, whatever.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, but it's better than playing Carcassi for 6 months.
Then I put on the description that I had a gun against my head, so that's why it's good.
You keep finding loopholes in these.
Well, yeah, you make really specific questions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have to, and this is bad because I'm live streaming twice a week now, so I have to think of these questions twice a week.
It's
So,
definitely
everyone who's listening, if you have any suggestions for would you rather questions, please tell me because I need help.
Yeah.
So like, I'm always interested to know what people think about the future of classical guitar. It's a bit of a niche, and even the fact that this stream is kind of guitar specific, it's like we're in our own little world a lot of the time, And of course, we're making the stream to be entertaining and stuff, and also informative for guitarists, but and people who are interested in guitar already. But what do you think the future of classical guitar is? Where would you like to see it go?
Yeah, I mean, well, most of all, I would like to be a concertist. But
No, but I mean not just for you. I mean the instrument in general.
for the whole people.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Where do I see it going? Hard question. It really depends of a lot of things, but
Or where would you like it to
I think
go?
what I would like mostly is that some things, some like preconceived ideas or some traditions, let's say, would leave out the instrument. So, like for example, that the guitar could not play in a big hall. That's very usual to say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think most of the guitarists could adapt to the idea of playing with amplification.
Yeah, I wish that people
going
would
to
just
these
get
big
over
halls.
that.
And I think this, I mean, of course, the amplification has to be good. That's not the point. But if you do get a good amplification, or even if it's not the best, the point is to play in this big hall. We have to recognize that our instrument doesn't have the same quantity of sound capability as all others. But if we accept that and if we adapt ourselves, I think we could give a really big step in the image of our instrument. And this is the thing that I think we have to improve the most, is the image, because honestly, the repertoire that is written for guitar is 80% is not so good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So we have to make the best of what we have, and if we could bring it to those stages, and if we could keep interpreting some quality pieces like Antonio José, sonata like Tedesco, I mean, I think we would give a big step, and I think that's the biggest challenge: is to go out of the classical guitar world and go to the music world. That's the difference,
But don't you think that don't you think that that would be better achieved by not only commissioning new works but also just finding more people to collaborate with in a way? Like, I don't know, is the guitar repertoire really going to work with those audiences?
I think it would. The point is, that's the thing. I mean, a lot of people have the preconceived idea that it's a popular instrument, that it's not serious. But honestly, if we stick to the good repertoire, that's important, of course. I mean, I think that's really important because most of the also one of the reasons why it's not so serious is because there are pieces which are really just not so serious.
Yeah.
Like target pieces or something. Like if we keep playing these things on concert only, it will always be seen as never could compete with a Rachmaninoff concerto, like with a violin sonata from Brahms, nothing like that. But um, I think, yeah, if we are able to collaborate with other instruments, other, for example, music festivals, and for example, adapt to this idea of amplification, keep on working on the good music that is written for the instrument, I think we could give that step. That's where I would like to go, but it is very hard, honestly. It is, right? Because it doesn't depend entirely on us. That's the problem.
Yeah, it also depends on people being receptive to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see.
But it's possible. There's hope.
Yeah. Why do you want to keep playing guitar? What drives you to play guitar? What inspires you, or why do you want to continue?
I like the instruments. I really like it. I mean, one of the reasons why I compose is exactly because I don't think there's a lot of great repertoire guitar, and there's a lot of pieces that don't really transmit what I feel or what I really want to achieve. And I think the guitar is a great instrument to do it, and there's a lot of possibilities because it's harmonic, and as I said, the thing of the colors, exploring, and the quantity of harmonic
possibilities.
effects that you can make. It's great. It's great, and I feel there's a lot more to learn still, and that's why I will keep playing it, I think.
Yeah, cool. What guitarist or what classical musician in general do you think is doing the most interesting things right now? Like, who do you see pushing the art form forwards, whether it's guitar or just classical music in general?
I don't know. Who's pushing more than classical music forward? I don't know if I don't think there is so many where we're actually doing that. I mean, there are some people with interesting projects, maybe like Gustavo Dudamel, that has these young orchestras that he picks up a lot of kids from poor neighborhoods or from just a lot of kids, and makes good orchestra and good music with it. There are people like Gabriela Montero, for example, that makes improvisation in these kind of serious stages, which also is a step for improvisation.
Yeah.
Which is something that I really appreciate. Yamandu Costa, for example, interprets popular themes in classical stages and classical guitar festivals, as we saw in Zagreb, for example.
Oh, he was in Zagreb. Oh.
Yeah. He was. I think maybe last year or 2 years ago. I don't know. He was.
Yeah, he's great. I think I saw him in Calgary a long time ago.
I think he gives the step. He also like kind of bonds popular music as well, but in a good taste.
Yeah.
And I think these are things that are marking for me. Otherwise, I cannot say that classical music is going so much forward.
Yeah, it's a bit stagnant. Do you think?
It's a bit, yeah, definitely. Like also in terms of identity, musical identity of this era that we are now, it's also very, undefined and undeterminated. Yeah.
Interesting. Neat. We're gonna play a lightning round now. Do you know what that is?
What?
We're gonna do a lightning round. So I ask you like.
I have to ask something really fast, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You ready?
I'll try.
Okay. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Really? Oh, we don't see eye to eye, Francisco. Restoration. You kind of answered this before, but restoration of the composer's intention or your personal interpretation?
My personal interpretation.
All the guitarists say this. What does that say about guitarists?
That we don't give a shit about composers.
Yeah, apparently. Bream or Segovia?
Sorry?
Bream or Segovia?
Bream.
Okay. Liszt or Chopin?
Chopin.
Oh, okay, we agree. Free stroke or rest stroke? Like tirando, apoyando?
Tirando.
Tirando, okay. Me too. Breakfast or dinner?
Dinner.
Team Edward or Team Jacob?
What?
From
What do you mean?
Twilight? Never mind. Okay, we'll skip that.
No, sorry, I didn't watch it.
It was a trap to see if you watched it or not.
Oh, yeah.
You passed the
What?
test.
Yes. I think this one is a positive one.
Yeah. Ponce or Tedesco?
Tedesco.
Oh, okay. I thought I knew. South Park or The Simpsons?
Simpsons.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you would say South Park. Bogdanovich or Brower?
Brower.
Lady Gaga or Katy Perry?
Oh my god.
You can say neither.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, this is fun. Vanilla or chocolate?
Vanilla.
Vanilla. Solo or chamber?
Solo.
Mammals or reptiles?
Reptiles.
Really? Everyone says reptiles. Concert or masterclass?
Concert.
Contemporary or classical romantic repertoire?
Classical romantic. Yeah.
Ah.
That's one option, right? Classical.
Yeah. Symphony or concerto?
Concerto.
Campanella or regular scales?
Regular scale.
Violin or cello?
Violin.
Sweet or salty?
Salty.
Tremolo or scales?
Tremolo.
Yeah, me too. Horowitz or Rubinstein?
Horowitz.
Karajan or Bernstein?
Sorry?
Karajan or Bernstein?
Karajan.
Thibaut Garcia or Andrea De Vitis?
Andrea De Vitis.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Really? I thought you would say beer. Oh, wow.
I'm good with both.
Yeah. Both are good, but pizza or pasta?
Pasta.
Oh. Marcin Dila or Zoran Dukic?
Marcin Dila.
Oh, but you applied with Zoran.
Don't screw me up, man. Shit.
I don't think that he'll care with you anyways. Sony or Nintendo?
Sony, I guess.
Okay. Wait, I don't think this one matters. Okay, that's it.
Okay.
Nice. That's hilarious. I think I would have guessed every single one of those answers if I had to guess for you.
Really?
Yeah.
Also the beer one? No, that one.
Well, no, that one. Okay, that's true. There were a couple, but I think in general, like as you said them, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It's funny because I know you so well because I see you all the time.
Okay. Yeah.
Stay at your place. By the way, I have to give Francisco a big public thank you for letting me stay on his floor so many nights.
Thank you for the invitation. It was great.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very lucky because
Sandro, sorry about that. I don't listen to your fantasies.
Yeah.
I'm already sick of that, but it's okay.
Sandro, poor Sandro. Well, he'll be on next week, so then you can I don't know, go in the chat and talk.
Yeah, I'll go on the chat and have a small talk.
Yeah, exactly about Sandro. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna listen to one more piece of yours before we wrap up. So, not piece of yours. Sorry, you don't have. You should play one of your pieces next time.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you writing, by the way? What kind of stuff are you writing?
Well, I'm writing a solo piece, like theme and variations. Actually, It's something.
What's the theme?
Where is the theme? On the beginning, please.
Well, you wrote the theme. Okay, it's not like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's not like a theme that you took from something else.
No, not really.
And a duo, right?
Yes, and also a duo. The duo I stopped already for 1 month, unfortunately. But I plan to keep going on it.
Cool.
So.
Nice. Well, the last thing we're going to listen to is The Old Lime Tree by Sergei Rudnev. So do you want to talk about why you chose this piece, why you learned it, why you like it, what do you think about it?
Well, honestly, I mean, there's not so much background about it. I heard it and I thought it was wonderful. I mean, it was not very well played, very much played, but I found it really fitting my personality. It was also a very romantic piece where I could explore these colors things that I thought and that I talked about, and I really see myself when I play this piece, So
cool.
For me, it's very special. It's really always special. It creates really such a great atmosphere. I think it's a really special one, and it's not so much played, so it's also not such a mainstream. Therefore, I think it's great to give something fresh and so beautiful for the audience.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. Well, let's listen to the Rudnev before we sign off. And by the way, your mic is still on, so try not to make any noise when it's playing.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'll try to find a way to silence it, but I'm still learning this whole OBS thing, so I apologize to everybody for being a bit learning a bit here on the go. Okay, let's hear the old lime tree. Awesome. Nice work, man. Sounds great. Hey, Francisco, can you hear me?
Can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me at all? You should be able to. 1 second. Audio settings.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear
Sorry.
me? Oh, okay, it's okay. How's it going, man? Nice job. Sounds great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, wait. Now it's not showing your... I'm having so much trouble today with this. There we go. But you're way over here. What the heck? Nope. Oh, my goodness. So many technical difficulties. There we go. Nice. Okay. Wait. Oh my goodness. Zoom. Just please work for 1 second. Oh, okay. We're still having problems here. I don't want the minimized view. I just want to be able to... Can you hear me?
Yep, sure.
Oh my goodness. I'm having a lot of trouble with OBS.
It's your computer.
It's not the computer that's the problem. It's the OBS software that's not cooperating. I need to test something. There we go. Okay, I fixed it. We're back. Hey everyone. Okay, well, that was awesome, man. This piece is really
Thanks.
cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's yeah, it's very guitaristic, but it's also, the theme is really clear and it's really nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. And the part at the end where you would do like this other color with your right hand, is that marked in the score, or did you just play it that way?
The tremolo, yeah. I mean, it's marked the one which is more typical, which is with the flash, like this kind of.
Oh, the pizzicato, you mean?
Yeah. Yes. Was that what you're talking about?
Yeah, at the end where you put the.
The pizzicato.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No. Yeah, that was marked on the score.
But you don't do like, it's not really a full pizzicato, is it, or is it?
No, it's not full pizzicato. I thought it would sound a bit better if it was like, just like on the.
On the bridge, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cool. And to leave it a bit more soundful. I mean, more colorful, I guess.
Yeah, not just like totally thumpy.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, do you have anything else you want to share? People can find you on Facebook, YouTube, I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can find me always on Facebook. I mean, if you want to share any of these videos, you're more than welcome. I suggest you to keep watching this Messy Desk streamings, because there's always interesting people here, and Mike is a great guy. Always makes great programs. So
thanks.
Yeah.
We're learning. We're all learning together how to survive the pandemic.
Yes.
And I'm learning all about
it. It's a great time to
see. So far, it's like if people play through the Zoom call, then it's like the quality's kind of weird because it's through Zoom and it's like hard. And then if I play the videos from here, I have all these technical difficulties with the Windows. So I'll figure out a system one day soon.
It's still great.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Well, I hope I see you again before the end of the school year. I guess now we're stuck doing online for the rest of the year. So.
Well, yeah, we'll see. But I think it will maybe around June or something. The situation will be more stabilized, but we still have to wait a bit.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope that we all see each other in person. I don't want to finish my last semester in my own apartment,
Yeah, that would be really shitty.
It's not really a fun way to finish your degree, but I guess you would also be finishing that way. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
No, for sure. We'll see each other.
We'll see. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Give the stream a like and a share, and thanks Francisco for joining us and for sharing your recordings and your playing and your thoughts. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the invitation. That's
awesome.
Great.
Okay, so everyone. This is Friday. Tuesday. See, I don't know what day it is because we're always stuck indoors for this pandemic. So it's like every day I just look at my Google Calendar. I'm like, okay, I teach an online lesson now. I practice now. I don't know what day of the week it is. It's all like
every day is a new day.
Yeah, every day is a new day. But on Tuesday we have joining the stream Tim Beatty. So everyone tune in on Tuesday for Tim at 8 p.m. Central European time, which I think Eastern North America is like 2 p.m. So yeah. See you all then. Thanks, Francisco.
Thank you.
See you around. Keep practicing. Keep writing. I want to hear your own music soon.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will definitely post something soon.
Awesome. Cool. Ciao. Thanks.